Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the extended break, but we have returned with our next series. We just wrapped up with Nicoract versus Gref. Nicoract, he survived the cannon rusher. He did make it through, but now he's up against someone very different. He's up against the best Zerg player in all of Belarus. He's up against, well, his next would-be opponent. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Hardland. We have our red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes, the best Terran in the entire bracket. Can he keep the dream alive? Can he keep the Terran dream alive? It is Nicoract for the Platinum Heroes. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player from the land of Belarus representing Team Platoon. It is Nikich. Here we go. And our ZVT is upon us. And hopefully not our last. We have a lot of big Zerg players in the tournament. We did mention them earlier. Players like Young Yakov, players like Wayne as well. Can Nicoract go can Nicoract go all the way, or can Nikich cause a bit of an upset? I mean, to be fair, I would say that both these players are pretty comparable in skill. I've said this before, I don't get to cast enough of Nikich. I do wish that I get to be more introduced to him. In my mind, he seems to be more of an aggressive player, but mainly aggression in the mid game more than anything. You know, cutting workers at around 60 to 70 counts, basically 3-base saturation, and then just doubling down on Roach Ravager and on Ling Bane. We'll see if that is the case in this matchup. I'll be honest, I mainly cast Nikich against Protoss players, a little bit less against Terran, so I'm ready to be introduced to his playstyle and to get a bit of a read on how he does approach a Terran player in general, or at least Nicoract. For now, Hatchgas Pool. Hatchgas Pool opener here out of Nikich, nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. As looks like we're having a bit of latency issues there. I don't know if you saw that, but I believe that was Nikich lagging out for a moment. Hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully the internet connection does stabilize. Otherwise we are more than willing to pause and, you know, take a moment for him to make sure that there's no like background uploads or background downloads, or you know, no one else is connected to the internet on his end or something like that. You know, close all the tabs, all that good stuff. Wait for things to clear up. Again, hopefully it doesn't affect his game. Hopefully it doesn't affect this series. As we're getting into this, and we have a very different opener. Okay, so we have a Rax expand here out of Nicoract, which is normal, but we're going into a very fast second Rax. This is a 2-1-1. It's been a hot minute. It's been a while since I've seen a 2-1-1. The reason for this, I mean, this build has kind of fallen off. It's very risky. Reason why I say that, this build does rely on a timing with medevacs. Does rely on a 16 Marine medevac timing with stim, which can be quite powerful. The problem here is that you lack a lot of map presence early on. No Hellions is what I'm saying. No Hellions, only one Reaper, so you can't really slow down the creep. And once the Zerg player realizes that you're going for a 2-1-1, they can get away with skipping Lings, droning up hard, even skipping Queens. I mean, you wouldn't want to. You still want Queens for your defense, but skipping Lings and kind of getting into your own opener and getting away with a pretty comfortable start. As I say that, I was talking about aggression in the mid game. This is aggression straight away here. Nikich going for fast lair. He didn't pull out. He did not pull out a gas. He stayed in. He pulled in, Poppy. He pulled in. And we're rushing into fast lair. This could be a Link Queen Nidus all in. How many queens? Only 3 queens. There we go. 4th queen is on the way. I'm feeling a Link Queen Nidus all in. The 2nd gas geyser is on the way to facilitate for that. If we were going for 2-base Muta, we would have seen another gas. We would have seen a 3rd gas by now, or even a 4th gas by this point as well. So I'm feeling Nidus play, but we'll see. As again, Nicoract is going to be amassing so many Marines. Who does this favor is the real question. We're going for a Bailey Nest as well. Oh my god. Okay. Crazy. I was not expecting that. Lair is finished. What is the lair for? We're making another queen. We're still making Lings. We're amassing Lings as we speak. I'm still feeling Nidus, but the Bailey Nest is throwing me off a little bit. Meanwhile, across the map, we do have our 3rd Rax on the way. Here come the first 2 medevacs. We do get a scout. We do get confirmation. We are now aware of the 2-1-1. Again, I don't think an all-in is amazing against this, so how will Nikich respond? How will he deflect this? How will he react as he's droning and he's not doing anything with the lair? Okay, so my theory here is that if it was a 3cc opener, 100% we go for a Bane Bust. Sorry, we go for a Nidus all-in with this Overlord in the main. But because it's 2-1-1, we're transitioning into Baneling Speed, which was delayed. Now into Evo Chambers, we're droning. We're going for a longer game. Okay, so it looks like Nikich, I imagine, is adapting to what's happening, is adapting to Nicoract's build. But is he going to be able to get away with it? Because we do get the unload so far unscouted. Show us the stim! As we dive on top of the Queen does go down. A big pick off. Nicoract, he dives into the middle line. Drones are falling. Lings, they come in to react. They come in to respond, but they're too late. And they cannot engage. Not anymore. Here come the Banelings. Banelings do force the pick up, but 8 drones went down alongside that Queen. That's a lot of damage. That's an insane amount of damage this early on. As Nicoract does unload here on the low ground. Gonna clear up whatever creep he can. Double drop his force back. But honestly, a really good start. Nikich is behind. Straight up, he's behind. He invested into a fast lair that which didn't amount to anything. He lost 8 workers. He lost a Queen as well. Like, he's had a really hard time here in this opener, and Nicoract is running away with it. Nikich needs to get some counter damage. He has to either catch this army or pull off an all-in. Or cripple the economy in some way. Is he looking? He's not looking! Oh, was not quite paying attention there. Nicoract gets caught asleep at the wheel. Big connections here on these Marines. Unfortunately, he was focusing attention elsewhere, out across the map. Moving out with another double drop, but that was a good moment. That was a good fight for Nicoract, a good win for him. But Nikich, god damn it. I'm gonna have a hard time switching between those names. That was a good fight for Nikich, and he has to keep it up. He needs another good moment, another good engagement. Does catch, ooh, not quite any Marines. Clean pick up there from Nicoract. Does lose some Marines here across the map to the Queens. I would say that Nicoract still has momentum on his side, but once again, no! Oh, once again, you can see there Nikich trying to catch his opponent off guard. Intentionally move commanding past the army, engaging with the Banelings. Trying to make sure that he doesn't trigger the alert of the attack. The in-game alert, I mean. And Nicoract, he is going to be pushing it on 2 bases. And oh my god, this is a 2-base all-in. No third CC, no third in sight. I took it for granted. I assumed there would be. But no, straight up 2-base all-in from Nicoract. At the same time, Nikich is amassing Ling Bane. And cuts workers very early on. Catches the tanks! The tanks, they were caught on siege. Big connections, but the tanks, they barely go down. But doesn't matter because we have a massive amount of Marines left over. We stim on forward. How many Banelings? We have 4 Banelings to our name. 4 Banelings, that's all we have. That's not going to be enough. Good target firing out of Nicoract. Does get 1, does get 2. 1 Baneling does connect, but 1 Baneling is not enough. The transfuse is a clutch, but it's still not enough here to keep this army alive. As we barely do connect with those Banelings, 11 drones go down. This is game-ending damage, and we have reinforcements on the way. Nicoract, he has done a GG, gets called. And Nicoract will take a 1-0 lead in this series. GG, well played. A solid game there out of Nicoract. Again, Nikich had, unfortunately, a really rough start. Remember, he went for a very early lair, didn't do anything with it. But again, I believe he didn't do anything with it because it was not a 3cc opener. If it was a 3cc before Starport, or even a 3cc 2-on-1, I'm sure we would have committed. Instead, we had to pivot away, and we put ourselves behind initially, and we put ourselves even further behind when Nicoract came in and killed 8 drones with his first double drop. He did take a Baneling to the face, that's true, but that was not enough to recover. That was not enough to make up for the deficit that Nicoract was in. Oh, sorry, that Nikich was in. God damn it. They're both Nicks. They're both Nicks, man. As we're getting into game number 2 here, again, Nicoract, he's leading the series, but how will this series end? Will we tie things up? Will we go to the ace match, or will this be over here and now in a 2-0? Will Nicoract advance on to the semifinals already? Again, it's been a pretty quick, or pretty fast game so far, pretty quick series. But I'm hoping we can go to the ace match. I'm hoping we can go the distance here. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player representing Platoon. It is Nikich. He's down in the series. He needs to win this game to tie things up, to force the ace match. Can he pull it off, though? Can we bring it all back? I want to believe. But I also wonder if the build of Nicoract was specialized for Nikich. And what I mean by that is, I mentioned before that Nikich has a bit of a reputation. He has an aggressive reputation, and I wonder if Nicoract knows that specifically against Nikich, it just isn't safe to open up 3cc. It isn't safe to go for economic builds, that it's better to cut Nikich off at the pass, beat him to the punchline, and be aggressive instead, and be more aggressive than your opponent. I wonder if that's the mindset that Nicoract has. We'll see if that theory holds true as we get into game number 2. We'll keep an eye on our Terran opener. Likewise, we're also going to keep an eye on Nikich's gas. I didn't notice until it was too late that Nikich hadn't pulled out a gas after Link speed, so that's another big tell when it came to the fast lair timing. So we'll keep an eye on the gases here of Nikich to see if he does pull out or if he stays in. So your blood is going to be floating across the map. I will have to remove the logos mod. I have to remember to change the logos mod. For now, Overlord going to be floating on over. We have a Rax Expand standard opener for the time being here from Nicoract, but I'm waiting for his build of choice. I'm waiting for if we throw down another Rax or if we go for a factory. And there it is. We have confirmation. It is going to be a factory next. So this will be a different build from game 1. Game 1, remember, it was a 2-1-1 into a 2-base all-in. Here, it's going to be a 1-1-1 variation. The question becomes, do we have a straight-up 1-1-1 or a third CC before starport? Meanwhile, First Reaper does make it across the map. Going to be dancing with the Lings. Poking away at the army, looking for some drone damage if at all possible. As the Reaper is gonna try to dip in, we do get a Ling! One Ling does go down. Meanwhile, in the main base, we have pulled out a gas. Okay, so both players are diverting away. We do see a more economic opener out of Nikich, pulling out a gas and not really focusing on it. Meanwhile, third CC before starport, economic opener out of Nicoract. Nicoract reading this well, playing this out well, and he shouldn't really be caught with his pants down. The pants, they're up. They're up. They're tight. We get Nicoract, he will not be caught out. And Nikich is just droning. So we have a very standard setup here in our TvZ. Very meta so far. Nothing out of the norm, nothing too aggressive. Reaper tries to dip in, doesn't quite get the tumor. Behind this, we do see Nicoract working towards his 3cc 1-1-1. We have a tech lab on the way, and we are poised for an add-on swap. This looks like a Banshee-based opener. This is as standard gets here in TvZ. As meta gets. If you're a Terran player out there, if you're maybe wanting to learn how to open in this matchup, this is kind of the most standard, safe, economic way to do so. There's that add-on swap into Banshee production. The reason why this is so standard is, one, Hellions give you early game map control. They allow you to vie for control of the creep. You can chip away at them. If your opponent is too greedy, you can always dive with your Hellions and get into a mineral line. It's risky, but again, if they skip out on Lings, then you can do so. You can try to punish the Zerg player if they do cut too many Lings overall. And also, the Banshees are amazing because they don't just allow you to harass, they don't just allow you to kill workers, but they can also allow you to kill queens, and more importantly, they keep you safe against roach play. If your opponent did open up roaches, if your opponent was going for a 1-1 roach push or a 9 roach push, then the Banshees will be there in time to shut them down and to keep you safe, and to allow you to expand and take your third. So there's a lot of layers to this opener, or to this build, and again, it all works quite well together. It all keeps you safe. Meanwhile, behind this, lair is now on the way. This is a 4-minute 30 lair timing, or 4-minute 35 lair timing. Very standard. Very standard lair timing here. Very safe play out of Nikich. This lair should lead into a Bailey Nest. And there it is. Bailey Nest is on the way. This is lined up so that when the lair finishes, Bailing speed can commence. It's all lined up. And again, this is just really safe play for Nikich. This allows you to be safe against, for example, Hellbat pushes or 2-base all-ins. So very safe play out of Nikich. You could be greedier and you could skip, or you could delay the lair, you could delay the Bailey Nest, and you can go for a faster 1-1 and get into 1-1 upgrades. That's typically where Zerg players go. So this build from Nikich, again, is very safe overall, which makes sense because Nicoract did go for a 2-base all-in last game. Did go for that 2-base all-in, so Nikich, he has been tempered. He has been put in his place a little bit. So we'll be playing very safely against his opponents. Behind this, we will be skipping the 1-1 upgrades, by the way. Instead of going for double Evo Chamber, we're going for a Spire. We're going straight for Lingbane Muta here. Bold move out of Nikich. We'll see if we can keep that Spire hidden. We'll see if we can hide that tech against these Banshees. Banshees, they do rock up. And they get a kill on the Gas Geyser. There is a Spore Crawler, thankfully, but it is barely out of range. Cannot cover the gases. At the same time, Hellions going to be vying for control here of the creep, looking for a way in. They do poke, but they don't commit. Hellions do back off. Banshees, they do clear up a lot of creep here outside of the wall, or outside of the natural. Hellions look for another way in, they don't find it. So far, Nikich is doing a great job at rotating with his opponent. And again, this is just a really risky move to go for these mutas, but as we did mention, Nicoract has no idea. He hasn't scouted, he did not scan the main, and he's busy in the natural. And he's getting damage done, to be fair. Like, these Banshees, they killed a Gas Geyser, and they killed 3 drones. They cleaned up a lot of creep. Good stuff so far. Meanwhile, at the same time, Hellions, they dive into the mineral line. They get one more drone. They roast up the Lings as well. Very good positioning here by Nicoract. Oh my god. How many? 25! He gets 25 Lings before finally being shut down here by Nikich. But maybe it's all worth it. Maybe it's all worth it for the Zerg player because mutas are on the way. And how many mutas do we have? So far, only a handful of them here. Enough for map control. 4 mutas in total. We got a couple more on the way. Again, because the Gas Geyser was killed earlier, that did impact the amount of mutas we could make. That did slow us down. Meanwhile, 3rd base is up and running. 4th CC is on the way. A 2nd and a 3rd factory as well. Nicoract building up towards the mid game. Building up towards 4-base economy as he pushes out with his first 2 tanks. Again, this is not committed, by the way. Like, this is not all in. We are pushing. We are applying pressure. And can Nikich deal with that pressure? As he dive on the army, big tank shot's going to be going off. Decent bathing connections on only half of the Marines. And we still have the other half. We still want forward. We focus down the Queen. And where are the Banelings? There are barely any left. Nicoract, he has a lot of momentum going his way. He catches another Queen. Gets 2, gets 3, gets 4. 4 Queens go down. Good target firing as well on the Banelings. Mutas, they did come in from behind. But the Mutas, they cannot engage. This is the problem. Mutas, they do amazing when it comes to picking up reinforcements or harassing, but they cannot fight head-on. Not like this. Oh, and every Muta goes down. Big cash there from Nicoract, and he's snowballing out of control. Nikich just doesn't have enough. Again, this investment into Muta just wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it in the end. We lost far too much in the process. And this push, it's snowballing out of control. We have a secondary army pushing towards the would-be 4th base, or would-be 5th. The 4th goes down. The 5th is under fire. Banelings, they connect. Not quite. The tank at least goes down. That was a kill. That was a kill, not a cancel on the hatchery. And Nicoract, he's snowballing out of control. Dives into the natural. He ignores the Bailey Nest. He goes straight for the damage. Straight for the Queen. Baits out 3 Banelings for 3 Marines. And even though Nicoract is being forced back, he is far ahead. Remember, he was working towards a 4th base. He has a 4th base soon to be up and running. He has a triple factory production. 2-2 on the way. Mass Marine. And Nikich, he lost so many mutas in the defense. So much of his production, so much of his economy. He's stuck on 3 bases. Nikich, he's behind economically against the Terran. He's behind in the army, behind in every aspect. He needs a miracle engage. Now, it's possible. If Nicoract is asleep at the wheel, if we can connect with these Banelings, then we can take a good fight. Oh! We have a decent connection, but the army's being dragged out of position at the same time. Nicoract pushing towards that would-be 4th base once again. And that's another kill, not a cancel. 300 minerals down the drain. Hot pick up there by Nicoract. Does avoid most of those Banelings and space some of them out. More tanks are arriving. And Nikich, he's contained to 3 bases, perpetually contained. He cannot expand. Not anytime soon. With that, we have Nikich just trying to hold on. He's going desperately for a counterattack, but we have Marine reinforcements and Widow Mines as well. Speaking of the Widow Mines, they are burrowing. Ooh, decent mine shots are going to be going off. At the same time, Nicoract pushing towards the third base. He's already contained to 3 bases, but now he wants to contain to 2. Nikich, he's up against the wall. There aren't a lot of Marines here, so we can collapse on these tanks. Yeah, the tanks are going to go down. This was a bit of an overextension from Nicoract. He did overstay his welcome. A nice cleanup here from Nikich. Does get 3 tanks. Meanwhile, 4th base is up and running, fully operational. 5th CC is on the way for Nicoract. He's already up a base. He's soon to be up 2 bases. Soon to be up 2 bases here as we do harass the 4th base with these mutants, but at the same time, Nicoract pushing on the right-hand side, collapses on this base. So many Widow Mines as well. This time the base is cancelled, not killed. But my god, the mines, they do just waddle on forward. Now, it looks like we get 15 SCVs across the map. We do shut down the 4th base. Very nice damage here with those mutas. But what about the ground army? Yeah, there's a decent amount of Lingbane. Can we hold on? Can we survive the mutas? They get caught out. Uh-oh. Oh, the mutas have to be very careful. If they try to collapse on the Marines, the mine shots are going to be going off. No detection. We don't see the mines. Oh no, I can see it so clearly. Again, it's just it's a minefield out there. We cannot push in. Nikich has to be so careful with how he engages. The mines! Okay, so far, 3 Widow Mines do get baited out. We have Nicoract pushing on the left-hand side once again trying to contain Nikich. His 4th base gets up, but can it get up and running? The mine! Oh, big connection on the Banelings. A massive mine shot. And just like that, Nicoract has nothing else to fear. He gets a kill on the Baneling nest. He gets a kill on a queen. Gets into the mineral line. Gets into the natural. And he will just shut all of this down. A bit overstimmed, though. Ooh, quite overstimmed. As he takes more Banelings to the face. Again, shout out to Nikich. He's holding on. He did deny the 5th and the 4th of Nicoract. Nikich, he's surviving. He's not living, but, you know, he's holding on. Oh, the mines. Oh! Oh! Oh my god, massive connections. Overseer goes down. We still have 4 more Widow Mines behind this as well. As they do waddle in, they're being focused down one after the other. At the same time, here comes Nicoract once again with wave number 4, 5. The waves, they don't stop. This time with Marauders. This time with somebody to buffer the Banelings. Ooh, a lot of Banelings go down. That's a good half of the army. Massive connections with the Widow Mines. Well, they have a handful of Marines left. We are running out of steam a little bit here. Can the mass mutas survive? Ah, we're barely holding. How many mutas left? 6, 5, 4. 4 mutas remaining here. For Nikich. That's all we have left. We focus on 1 more medevac, but here come the reinforcements, and 4 mutas are never going to be enough. We're diving on top of the would-be Banelings. Ooh, friendly fire though. Oh my god. Nikich, we're holding on. The Widow Mines this time working for the Zerg. These Marauders are going to be going down. Without that friendly fire, that could have been it. That could have been game. But Nicoract, he's running out of steam. He's running out of money. No minerals here left in the main base. Yeah, we're floating it over towards the 4th. This should have been game for Nicoract, to be honest. This should have been game already. But Nikich, he's freely mining from that 4th. He can sustain himself. At least a little bit longer. And 26 more lings on the way. Nicoract has 3-3 on his bio. Rocks are being knocked down. Nicoract pushing forward. Scans ahead of time. We have Banelings on the way. Just now finishing. How good are the splits? Not too bad. Oh. Once again, a bit of friendly fire from that Widow Mine, and it looks like we will clean this up. Nikich, we're holding. No shotting. Can we turn this back around? Can we somehow turn this on its head and get on top of the last mining base of Nicoract? Is it possible? Again, it's so important, so imperative that Nikich, he got this base up and running. He has an economy. Nicoract has a comparable economy on his end. Turret's going to be going down. CC under fire. Nicoract still amassing an army. Ling run by here, heading towards the third base. There's nothing to defend. Oh. Not much here to defend whatsoever. Boys, they have to be pulled. Mutas, they come in from left-hand side. We are pulling Nicoract apart. The Muta Cloud! It's becoming too much. How many mutas do we have? 19. 19 mutas in total here. We're just dancing between the bases. CC's being lifted up to take as a 5th. And you can see that Nikich, for the first time in like 10 minutes, Nikich takes the supply lead. The Zerg player takes the supply lead. The mutas, they're getting out of hand. 22 SCVs go down. 23. Nikich, he's doing it. He's doing it, papi. And again, really what has won, or what is winning Nikich's game, is the fact that he was able to kill the 4th base earlier. He was able to get a kill on that base, kill on all those SCVs, made sure that Nicoract did not get out of hand. And this CC, it's going to go down. Nicoract is all in. Suddenly, somehow, someway, the Terran player is all in. Mine shots are, the friendly fire, and mine shots are wasted as well. We have 2 winter mines left. Only 2 mines are remaining. Again, they were just too bunched up. Too many went off. We have 1 mine left. And it looks like we clean this up. GG gets called, and Nikich does the impossible. He ties it up 1-1. He was down 2 bases. Nicoract was taking a 5th, while Nikich was stuck on 3. And somehow, someway, he was able to barely hold on, barely survived. And more importantly, he found the freedom. It wasn't even that many mutas. He sent 6 mutas across the map, and he killed the 4th. He killed every worker there. He killed the CC itself. I think it was actually a would-be planetary, but he was able to kill the base because Nicoract was hyper committed, hyper tunnel visioning on his push. And again, maybe just a little bit too distracted, maybe just a little bit, just a little bit hyper focused, and his attention on that 4th fell by the wayside. And as a result, we're in the ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3. Let's go. Let us go. It all comes down to this. It all comes down to our final game on Alkyone. Ooh, interesting. Alkyone being quite a large map, very macro-oriented map as well. I'm curious how this will turn out. I'm curious who this will favor as well, based on how aggressive both of our players have been so far in this series. But here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkyone. We have the red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is Nicoract. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Zerg player representing Team Platoon, somehow clawing his way back into that game and forcing the ace match. Can he also go the distance? It is Nikich. Here we go. Ooh. Again, that was wild. Nikich, his mutas, they eventually paid off. Initially, they didn't. If you remember, initially, the mutas almost killed Nikich. The reason why he lost his 4th and his 5th and his 4th and his 5th over and over again is because he had invested so hard so early on into those mutas, and they just weren't able to pay off in the head-to-head fight. That's why Nikich was losing so much ground and so much of his economy, but he persisted, he committed, and showing how commitment like that can pay off so damn well. But now we're going to the ace match, and we'll keep an eye on our openers here. We'll keep an eye on the gases, on the production, to see how aggressive our players want to be. Again, we've seen both players go for their own respective all-ins with middling success. And we load into Alkyone. Talking a little bit about the map, and God, I have to remember to delete the logos mod. But talking a little bit about the map itself. This map is more macro-oriented. It is the second largest map in the map pool, second longest rush distance, I should say, second only to Radisson Station, and we don't play on Radisson Station. Like, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. But there are a lot of bases to be taken, and not just that, but when you expand on the right-hand side, it's that much more difficult to punish because you have to work through all these minerals, you have to work through all these rocks as well. You can be very safe and secure on a 4, even 5 base setup. That's why we've seen so much late game, specifically on Alkyone. We've seen so much late game, so much split map scenarios. Will that happen here between these two? I doubt it, but possibly. Possibly. As behind this, Reaper does arrive, going to be dancing with these Lings. So far, not getting any damage. Not a single Ling has fallen yet. So far, good control out of Nikich. Behind this, we do have a factory on the way. So it's not going to be a 2-1-1, not like game 1. I imagine it's going to be a third CC before Starport. I imagine. Oh, never mind. We are going to be aggressive. Bold move to be aggressive here on Alkyone, but Nicoract, he does delay his third base, and he goes for a starport before third. A straight up 1-1-1 build here from Nicoract. This is going to be very aggressive. We're building up a lot of Hellions. We're going to be getting into Banshee production a lot faster, I imagine, and this can lead into a Hellbat push. This can be very committed. So we'll see how Nikich decides to open, how greedily or how safe he becomes. We shall see. As for now, we have those Banshees on the way. We're producing as many Marines as we can here, even without any add-ons. First 2 Hellions do arrive, just checking the third base for saturation. And we are soon reaching that 4-minute 30 mark. Tech Lab on the way, still no third CC, bear that in mind. Yeah, we're fully walling off here at the natural, which means no CC on the low ground. Pretty good Hellion volley. With that Tech Lab, we're going for an add-on swap. There we go, third CC now on the way. It is delayed, but it is on the way. This does confirm it's not going to be a 2-base all-in. Meanwhile, Nikich does go for a 4-minute 30 lair timing. Very safe play out of Nikich, just like game number 2. The Hellions are going for a dive. They're going for a massive dive. They just run past the Lings. They clean them up. They roast them all the way up. We head towards the mineral line. Clutch Evo Chamber. Oh my god, Nikich. Able to wall off just in time, but the main base is exposed. And the drones are lining up. And the barbecue is real. 12 workers go down. 12 drones for 6 Hellions. Well worth it. Hellions, they do not scale well into the mid-game. A good amount of damage is done, but remember, Nicoract, he had to deal damage because of how late his third CC is. So it's not over. Here come the Banshees. And we're looking for even more drone kills. Here we go. The Banshee has arrived. Gets, chips away at the mineral line. Gets a shot in. Meanwhile, the Lings have arrived for a big counterattack. Ooh, and this depot, it's going to fall. Can we get the wall up and running? Just barely we can. The wall does get... Oh, no! The wall is not a wall. The Lings, they flood in. The Marines, they get surrounded. That was a big misstep there by Nicoract. A big mistake, and boys are going down. So much economic damage. The Hellions may have roasted some drones, but these Lings, they're just munching away at these SCVs, and this is just far too much damage. 17 SCVs go down. Ay, ay, ay. 17 workers, plus lost mining time, plus some mules. And that was some crippling damage dealt to Nicoract. His economy is struggling. We do have a third CC, but it's still not even an orbital. And Nikich, he more than makes up for the damage he sustained. More than made up for all those dead drones. And behind this, he's working towards a 4th base, Bailey Nest. And just like game number 2, we delay 1-1. We delay our Evo chambers, and we're going for a fast Spire. Spire is on the way. And honestly, this is a really good way to keep the momentum up. This is a really good way to gain map control, to shut down these Banshees, and to harass the minerals, to harass the economy that is already struggling to get up and running. Nikich is in control. He's in control of this game. Nicoract, the pressure's on the Terran to somehow bounce back. The problem is he also lost his Marines. It wasn't just economic damage, but his Marine count was reset. His Marine count was delayed because of course, the 1-1-1 opener. And now we're getting into all of our bio production. Now we're getting into a decent army, but it's going to take quite some time to actually move out. By the time we do, mutas are already going to be harassing. Speaking of, Banshees do get a drone kill. Not bad. They do get a worker, but still being forced back. Marines are getting caught out. Not like this. A bit of a miss rally there. Or just a rough rally point in general from Nicoract. Even without Banelings, you can see how formidable these Lings are. You can see how few Marines there are here for Nicoract. He exposed the base. We dive on top of the tank. Tank is going to be going down, and Nicoract, he loses control of his third base. Ay, ay, ay. The third will fall. Or control of the third is going to go in favor of the Zerg. As we are forced to unload, or forced to lift up, forced to evacuate. Marines, they find an Overlord. As we retake control of the third base, but again, Nicoract, he is hurting so bad right now. Banshees are coming back in, Mutas looking to shut down those medevacs, looking to shut down the drop play. The Banshees, they killed 2 queens. Not bad. 2 queens did fall. Mutas are amassing. Now, the Mutas have been scouted. They have been seen. They did reveal themselves, so turrets are already on the way. Turrets are in production. But again, Nikich, he's happily mining from 4 bases. He's on 74 workers. Decent economy. Catches a medevac. Oh no! Okay, the medevac does escape. So we're going for a split push. We have a single Marine drop on the right-hand side that does delay the 5th. We also have a double Marine drop here towards the left. Mutas, they get a couple of SCVs, but they don't get much damage done. Drop does get into the main. A double drop here towards the left-hand side. Nikich out of position.
Under attack.
Yeah, he's being dragged completely out of position at this point. Nicoract, he needs to get some damage done. He needs to kill some of the economy. Ooh, but the Banelings, they do close the gap. They get some connections, but the Marines, they stand strong. Meanwhile, the drop in the main base still not dealt with. Nikich having a very hard time splitting up his army, and he will lose the 4th base. Nikich, he had the tools to defend, but the execution, it wasn't there. Nicoract fighting back. Kills the base, doesn't kill the workers, but did at least kill a hatchery. Mutas, they do threaten the medevacs. Queen barely does survive, and Nicoract does rotate over towards the right-hand side. Oh, get a medevac. We get 2. 2 medevacs will fall. Good catch here on the reinforcements. Lingbane is amassing. We do deny the 4th once again. Nikich stuck on 3 bases. I'm getting deja vu. We've been here before. But it's a bit of a different scenario. Here, yes, Nicoract, he is shutting down bases, but there is so much pressure on him to do so, to shut down these bases. And the reality is that he cannot fight head-on. In this scenario, Nicoract, he cannot take a head-on fight. He's reinforcing, but again, his goal should only be to deny the 4th. Should not be to push in for the kill. Because Nicoract, he may just kill himself. Lingbane going for a counterattack. Nicoract pushing towards the 3rd base. There are some Banelings to defend. We cannot commit. Some Banelings will connect at the same time. A big Ling counterattack. There's nothing at home. There's not enough at home to defend. SCVs are going down, and Nicoract, he turns everything back around. The Banelings. Oh, they head towards the main base. They do crash in. They shut down the wall. And we get 20 SCV kills. Nicoract doing whatever he can here to try to bounce back. But alas, the whole position here in the mineral line. More SCVs are going down. 27 workers in total. And Nicoract, even though he makes it back home, what is he really saving? What is he preserving? Everything has died. Everything has been cleaned up. And the Mutas, they keep on pushing. They camp the production. They get into the main base. Nicoract, he's all in. Completely all in at this point. Nikich, all he has to do is survive. Survive the counterattack, which is easier said than done. He's amassing Ling Bane. Nicoract, he's stuck. No, not like this. The tank. One out of the tank. We collapse on the army, on part of the army at least. We clean up 1, 2 tanks go down. GG gets called, and Nikich will take down Nicoract 2-1, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Nikich, he pulls off the comeback. Game 1 was brutal. Even game number 2, this should have been a 2-0. There's a world out there. There's a world out there where it's a 2-0 in favor of Nikich. Sorry, in favor of Nicoract. But alas, that is not the world we live in. Somehow, someway, game 2 was impressive. Game 2 for Nikich to bounce back, to just hang in there and to claw his way back into game 2. That was an insane comeback. And here in game 3, Nikich was in control. Like, his Ling run-bys, his counterattacks were brutal. They were punishing Nicoract so much. Nikich does come out on top. GG. Congratulations. Congratulations to our Zerg player here. And with that, Nicoract does bow out. He is going to be eliminated from the tournament. My condolences. Again, he is the highest rated Terran player here in this tournament, but unfortunately, he will not continue his run. His run will end here and now. GG, well played. And we can take this moment to head on over and have a look at the bracket and catch up on everything that's been going on. !B in the chat if you guys wish to have a look as well. Have a look yourselves.